If you're a woman over 40 and you feel like your debt is never going to end, I get it. At the beginning of this year, I had around $62,124 in debt across 7 accounts: credit cards, business debt, a personal loan, and even an IRS tax bill. And in just 5 months, I've been able to pay off over $18,000 in debt, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Let me break down what I was dealing with so that way you know exactly how I started. So January 1st, 2026, I sat down and I used my debt freedom tracker to organize all of my debt. I had 2 credit card debts. I had 2 business debts, 1 personal loan debt, an IRS tax bill, as well as my student loans. Now, at that time, when I totaled everything up, it was around $61,000. However, we all know about interest. And so by the time I started to attack my debt in March, my total had increased to $62,124. Now, at this time as well, I was investing in my brokerage account every month. I was trying to invest in my Roth IRA as well as my SEP IRA. I was stacking my high yield savings account to my minimum of $10,000. And then I was paying all of my bills at the same time. So it felt like there was never enough money to go around. However, I made the decision that I had to start paying off my debt because I was paying more money in interest, it seemed like, than what I actually owed. So here's the strategy that I use to knock this out. And I use the strategy that's called the Avalanche approach. Now, this approach means that you list all your debts out and you choose your highest interest debt first. Now, for me, that was one of my credit cards. That interest was 25.99%, which is insanely high. And the reason why you want to do this is because your highest interest debt is the one that's costing you the most money. It's the one that's actually bleeding you dry. And so I took my highest credit card and I threw thousands of dollars towards it. What I also decided to do was I decided to pair that with the snowball effect. Now, this is when you pay off some of your lower debts. That way it gives you that feeling of accomplishment. And I chose to pay off my IRS tax bill as well as my lowest business debt. So I was able to then put the minimum payments towards all my other debts. Now, a few months later, I was able to actually pay off that first credit card debt. And what I did was the money that I was putting towards that, I just rolled it over now to the second credit card. And I also ended up paying off my second business debt. So what was left was my personal loan debt and then the rest of the credit card. So here's the thing. Most people prefer to use the snowball method. And this is when you pick one of your lowest debts and you start with that because it gives you that quick win. It gives you that sense of accomplishment. What I realized was I want to put my feelings to the side and I want to do the method that is most effective. And what I learned was pairing the method of the Avalanche method as well as the snowball method worked best for me. I attack my highest interest debt as well as I pay off some of my lower debts as well. And that worked beautifully. So choose the method that's going to work best for you. But I love a good hybrid approach. Now, here's the question that nobody asks. Where did the money come from? I did not pay off $18,278 from one paycheck. I have multiple streams of income. And so what I did was I decided to use my top 3 streams to tackle my debt. And so at that time, I had a consulting gig and it lasted about 3 months. And for me, I was making a lot of money and I decided that I was going to use that stream of income to tackle my debt. I also was going to use my highest paid brand collaborations to pay off debt as well as my coaching services. So what I did was every extra money that came in, it had a job to do. Kill debt. That is it. The way you have to think about this is your mindset has to be every time the money hits your account, that is not your money. That is not your money. I did not go and spend it on myself. I did not treat myself. I did not go on vacation. My mindset was that the money was not mine. It belonged to the debt and it had a job to do. And so in 5 months from March all the way to August 1st, I have been able to pay off $18,278 across the 6 accounts. And then something happened that I was not expecting. So when I started this entire journey in January, my credit score was at a 677. And after paying that first credit card debt, it jumped to 744 once that credit card was paid in full. That's 67 points. Like, that is insane. And that was just from paying off one credit card. So I can't even imagine what my score is going to look like once I finish off this final credit card. Now, I did not use a credit repair company. There was no disputes or anything like that. I just paid my debt. Like, there's no tricks to this. I just paid what I owed. And the reason why it jumped so high is because of the credit utilization. So what this means is it's how much of available credit you are actually using compared to your total limit. And so when I was carrying high balances on each credit card, my utilization score was extremely high, which was dragging down my credit score. And one of those balances, once it dropped and I paid it off, what happened was my score then shot up because my utilization score was extremely low. That higher credit score matters more than anything because better interest rates when you want a car loan, even when you're trying to refinance your home, as well as better terms on anything that you need credit for in the future. So for me, I am so glad that I'm working on this simultaneously as I'm investing, as I'm planning for retirement, as I am rebuilding my business and doing all things to build financial freedom. I'm happy that my credit score is actually riding right alongside me and is increasing as well, because that is going to pay me dividends in the future. So let me tell you exactly where I stand right now today, because I have to tell you that I'm so ecstatic to know that I am just this close to reaching my goal. I told myself that I wanted to pay all of my consumer debt this year. That's the 6 out of the 7 debts. And I am this close. So I have one more credit card left, and it only has $1,650, which is nothing. I'm going to be making that final payment by the end of this month, if not in the next few weeks. And once that clears, y'all, I will be finished with my consumer debt. You guys, I feel like a weight has been just lifted. A weight has been lifted, because let me tell you this. Now I only have $42,786 in student loans, and I'm not stressed about that because multiple reasons. And I'm going to do a completely different video about my student loans, so we'll get to that later. But that's another battle that I don't even have to worry about this year. I told myself that I wasn't going to tackle that this year. Now, what I'm going to do once that final consumer debt is paid, I'm now going to focus on maxing out my retirement accounts. So what happens when you no longer have those 6 debts that you were sometimes putting those monthly minimum payments towards? All that money is now freed up. And so all that money is now going to go into my brokerage account. It's going to help me max out my Roth and my SEP. And honestly, it feels so good. So when everyone is trying to understand, okay, how is she able to do all of these things? I'm giving you the step-by-step playbook. I'm teaching you need to have multiple income streams. You need to have a plan when it comes to retirement. You need to have an emergency fund set up. All of these things work together. And this is why I'm able to fast track my plan, because I made sure that I had free up money to invest consistently every single month in my retirement accounts as well as my brokerage account. But I also made sure that I can do this debt free. And I say debt free because, again, my student loans, it's its own thing. What I'm saying is this: 5 months ago, I sat here and I had $62,124 in debt, wondering how the heck am I going to start this thing? And now I've already paid off over $18,000. By the time I'm done, it's going to be over $20,000 in just 5 months. And the reason being is because I realized if I wanted to invest in my future, I have to be debt free. And if you are a woman over 40 and you are sitting down right now listening to this video and you are terrified and you are scared because of all the debt that you have, good. Let it scare you into action. Because when I started in January, I had no idea how I was going to get here. My plan wasn't perfect. I adjusted as I go. But the important thing that you can do for yourself today is start with your highest interest debt and put as much money as you can towards that. And the key is, let me preface this, the key is that you are paying more than the minimum monthly amount. So what you may need to do is you may need to audit your finances. You may need to go through everything that you're paying every single month. If you own a business, if you don't, with your personal life, go through everything and see where you can free up money. And when you are able to cancel subscriptions, eat in, cook meals at home, and no longer spend a certain amount of money eating out or going out or traveling or whatever it is that you can cut, You will realize how quickly you can pay off your debt, but it's going to take some sacrifices. It's not going to take, okay, I'll figure it out when I get the money. No, it's going to take, let me move back home like I did. Let me cut all my expenses down to less than $1,000 a month. All those little things, they ended up adding up. And that's why I was able to tackle it as quickly as I was able to do. If you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Dupay Alaru, and this was your Daily Dose with Dupay. If you enjoyed this video or any video on my channel, I would love to welcome you into my community. Feel free to subscribe because I am here every single day documenting my journey, sharing with you how I am rebuilding my life and building wealth over the age of 40. And I know if I can do it, you can do it too. Until next time, I just want to wish each and every one of you guys a beautiful and blessed day.